Yes, folks, it's Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. Come on, everybody. You're supporting this channel. You're helping me build it up. Do a like and subscribe. If you've got any mates that might like it, recommend it, okay? Anyway, here we go. I'm going to talk today about another backscuttler. Yeah, they're all over the place, aren't they? Every time you look in the press, there's another prison officer, female prison officer, unfortunately. Member of the HOSTESS brigade. Yes, this particular one is called Chloe Hobbs, aged 23, and she was recently sentenced at Oxford Crown Court for misconduct in public office. And what had Chloe Hobbs actually done? Well, she'd been having an improper relationship with a prisoner at HMP prison, HUNTERCOMBE, which is in Oxfordshire, by the way. And apparently she'd received a gift from people outside to look after him, apparently, of £2,800. She'd also provided him, or ostensibly provided him, with a mobile phone, and then proceeded to take pictures of herself in a somewhat compromised position. When blokes send them, they usually call them dick pics. I assume that these are backscuttler pics. You know, here's me tits, there's me fanny, here's a picture, have a look. Stomach like that, you know, I mean, who knows? I mean, they're saying that these were inappropriate images of herself, that they found the phone in his cell, you see, and when they went through it, there they were, pictures of Chloe Hobbs, aged 23. Now, I don't blame these young ladies. I mean, they are young ladies. They've been placed into very vulnerable positions by the prison department and expected to look after sophisticated adult male inmates who will, without doubt, if they get the opportunity, undermine the authority of these young ladies. They're only young ladies, you see. I mean, I was 25 when I started in the prison system. This lady was 23, in a position of responsibility, and at Oxford Crown Court she was found guilty of misconduct in public office and sentenced to 14 months imprisonment. Suspended, though. They suspended it for 2 years and gave her 180 hours of unpaid work. That she must conduct that. But it's ruined her life, hasn't it? Ruined her life. And who put her in that vulnerable position? The Ministry of Justice. If they did, and I keep saying this, if they did health and safety checks to make sure that she was not at risk, then they must have concluded that placing a vulnerable young woman in a position like that is extremely risky. But she's the one that's got the jail sentence and the 180 hours of community service or whatever it is she's going to do. And it will have ruined her life because she has to disclose it. She's applying for another job. And it won't be easy. And I do feel sorry for Chloe Hobbs. And the people who put her in that position, they should be ashamed of themselves. They're doing it, you see. They're doing it on the cheap. That's why they do it. It's no good saying, oh, well, she's got A-levels in sociology and criminology and she's studying for a degree in nonsense. Doesn't work like that. You're going to have some common sense. You're going to have a bit of a capacity to deal with the inmates. And the way you deal with the inmates is say, you in your cell now. And you've got to be able to assist them in getting into the cell. But not now. The whole system is gone. And from what I'm told from people who are serving in the prison service now, there are gangs in the prisons that are terrorising the staff. You know, but I mean, I was at the Scrubs in the 70s, and the IRA would say, "We know exactly where you live," you know, and they would tell you that they knew where you live and give you the address, but you had to be able to say, "Yeah, you know what, come round there and I'll send you away in a plastic bag." But then again, where are the big boys now? Not anymore. I don't want to thank Larry the Goat Herd. Yeah, Larry the Goat Herd sent me a link to a story about Bournemouth. Apparently, a number of the hotels in Bournemouth have been converted for asylum seekers. You know, they've taken all the paying holiday guests. Bournemouth, nice. It's nice, Bournemouth. Yeah, beautiful beach. But it's now full of asylum seekers. And the article I read from that Larry sent me a link to was dealing with 57 arrests from 3 hotels. 57 arrests! 57 arrests from 3 hotels, but the occupants, the asylum seekers, had been out into the community at Bournemouth, and they have been terrorising the streets of Bournemouth. People do no longer feel safe walking down the streets of Bournemouth. Why? Because these asylum seekers, apparently, whoever they may be, are committing offences. I don't know, robbery, theft. It's mainly assaults, though. Assaults. I think there's 37 counts of assault, I believe. And people are rightly, in my opinion, rightly demonstrating against this. You brought these people into our community. It's rendering the community unsafe, destroying a seaside town, a well-known local seaside town, and for what reason? The government are now saying that they're going to deport any asylum seekers who are convicted of criminal offences. Oh, haven't they bloody done it? They're not doing it, are they? They're saying it. They're saying it, but they're not exactly doing it, are they? What they should do is just get themselves a coach. They fill a couple of coaches every week with the asylum seekers who are committing offences, stick them in the coach and bus them back where they came from. And if the French say, "Oh, you can't do that," say, "Sorry, mate, here they are, you've got them, we don't want them." But where's the bottle? They don't have it anymore. So that's a little rant today. Chloe Hobbs, age 23. I'll put a link down below to the source material for that, which is a BBC report, so you can click on that and read all about it. All the news that's unfit to print. Yeah. And by the way, I don't bother if these asylum seekers, I don't bother if they're Christian, spiritualist, praying to the Knights of Jedi, or worshipping Joe Pesci. George Carlin used to say that. He didn't worship Jesus or God, he worshipped Joe Pesci. He reckoned he got the same kind of results. So it's that kind of day, folks. I'm going to read you a poem now. This is a poem by Houseman. I'm a big fan of Houseman. This one's for Hazel, who sometimes watches this channel, I believe. Hello, Hazel. You're looking well, by the way. And this is from Alfred Edward Houseman, Houseman, in Valleys of Springs and Rivers. And it's about Shropshire, and specifically about a place called Clun. Now, I've stayed at Clun. I stayed at the White Horse Inn at Clun. Very nice. and I was there for a purpose. I was researching something for the author, Colin Wilson, and I went to the grave of John Osborne, who is buried in Clun. If you go into the churchyard, it's straight through the churchyard. Keep going onto the right, and that's where you'll find the grave of John Osborne. For 10 points, who knows what John Osborne wrote? Well, his most famous play was Luke Back in Anger, and he was one of the angry young men. And the book I was helping Colin Wilson to research was The Angry Years, because Colin Wilson was considered to be also one of the angry young men, along with John Osborne and John Brain, who wrote Room at the Top. And Alan Sillitoe, really, The Loneliness of the Long-Distance Runner. I liked Alan Sillitoe. Do you know that John Osborne also wrote the screenplay for Tom Jones? The film Tom Jones, starring Albert Finney. He was a highly accomplished writer. A great writer, obviously, yeah. So here we have it, A. Houseman's In Valleys and Springs and Rivers. Clunton and Clunbury, Clungunford and Clun are the quietest places under the sun. In valleys of springs and rivers, by Oney and Team and Clun, the country for easy livers, the quietest under the sun. We still had sorrows to lighten, one could not be always glad, and lads knew trouble at nightin' when I was a nightin' lad. By bridges that Thames runs under, in London the town built ill, 'tis sure small matter for wonder, if sorrow is with one still. And if, as a lad grows older, the troubles he bears are more, he carries his griefs on a shoulder that hand selled them long before. Where shall one halt to deliver this luggage I leave set down? Not Thames, nor Team is the river, nor London, nor Knighton town. 'Tis a long way further than Knighton, a quieter place than Clun, where doomsday may thunder and lighten, and little 'twill matter to one. There you are, A. Houseman. Hope you seriously enjoyed that. And I'm now going to warn you with the song dinger. That's it, folks. And we missed out the other day. We didn't get the opinion of Larry the Goatman's goat. So here we have it. What do you think about a nice English folk song that I can sing? Because people like folk songs, you know. Right, you miserable goat. Get out of here. Not to listen to me, eh? Anyway, here we go. As I said, it was somebody suggested I sing English folk songs. So this is Scarborough Fair. Recorded, of course, by Simon and Garfunkel, but this is my version. It's not going to be very good, by the way, folks. Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme. Remember me to one who lives there. She once was a true love of mine. Tell her to make me a cambric shirt on the side of a hill in the deep forest green. Parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme, tracing of sparrow on snow-crested ground, without seams nor needlework. Then she'll be a true love of mine. Tell her to find me an acre of land, on the side of a hill, a sprinkling of leaves, parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme, between the salt water and the sea strands. Then she'll be a true love of mine. Tell her to reap it with a sickle of leather, parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme, and gather it all in a bunch of heather. Then she'll be a true love of mine. There you go. I told you it would be rubbish, but I give it a shot, didn't I? Tales from the Jails, folks, with John G. Sutton.